Testing, 1, 2, 3. Every once in a while, I have to go through a period in time in life where I clear out my fellowship in YouTube. So I say very harsh, cutting, unkind things to viewers and kick people out and tell them they're stupid. That's a pattern of self-sabotage. Not if you know what I know. If you're living on the surface, yeah, looks like that, doesn't it? All right, let's do this. Humanity can do better. Look, this is the thing. Like, I could get upset with humans and say all the cutting, harsh, unkind things that I have to say about them and be completely justified and good and righteous in doing it. Again, gummy worm humans don't have an idea of what righteousness is, so I can say that, honestly. But I would never say these things that are cutting and harsh and cold and unkind about humanity if there weren't an alternative that humanity had been presented with that humanity had consciously rejected. I'll give you an example. LA in the 1970s was given an entire a monorail system from a German company, I believe, that would have eliminated all of the deaths that have occurred since 1972 as a result of being run over by the shit train that runs through LA. And this was a huge project. It would have taken a couple of years to build, but it was a raised monorail system, and it would have been amazing. But the parasites that were running Los Angeles at the time turned down the monorail system because of their connections to the gas and oil lobby. You know, the train tracks or whatever. They required an inferior form of fuel, and so a silent, quiet, non-polluting monorail system that was going to be provided by a German. The Germans make amazing things. I mean, Germans are good at what they do. They're apex society of people. At least they were until something happened. Won't go into details. But, you know, the Germans do a good job is what I'm saying. And, you know, they were going to give it to this Los Angeles city for free. And the city of Los Angeles, its parasitical leadership at the time, turned it down. So, you know, look, to say that people were stupid because they don't have the foresight, like they'll think about 28 seconds ahead of themselves. Ooh. And that's about it. There's nothing out. They don't see, oh, you know, there's like time after that, and then there's time after that, and then, you know, there's this thing called reality that unfolds and expands based on the decisions and actions that we choose now. And so they're not looking that far ahead. And so I've been gifted with the terrible gift of like extreme foresight. And I'll see things before they happen, and I'll say, ugh, if I prep for that, and if I'm ready for that, and if I do what I need to do to be aligned with that thing that's coming, everyone's going to hate me. They're going to think I'm Satan. They're going to think I'm evil. They're going to think I'm bad. For instance, in 1998, I was developing and designing organic food production facilities at age 14 and 15 and 16 to sell to high-end restaurants in major metropolitan areas. But I dropped it for something else that was asinine. It didn't matter. Because I saw that organic produce and organic things were going to take off. And lo and behold, everything is a premium for organic produce. In the early 2000s, that picked up and that stupid malarkey happened. But I could have been at the leading edge of that. So at this point in my life, I've learned to just own that. That was just one of the many things. I saw monorail systems when I was like 6 years old, all over the country, all over the world. And I was like, well, you just take two magnets and reverse the polarities on one, and then make the magnet's polarity. Anyway, like this whole thing came into my brain when I was like a little kid. And I was like, boom, 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 and I got it. So anyway, today I want to talk about legalism and how Satan hijacked Christianity. And I'm going to be as caustic and as cruel to people that are off topic and are not staying on point. Because I'm letting my inner asshole come to the surface And I'm just going to get used to being that kind of a person. All right, let's see. Windrix123 says, yo, what up? Just sending a message for you to get the chatter. Thank you. I actually appreciate that. I will be kind to this person, this person. Thank you for that. Victoria said, can I get a shot? Yes, you can, Victoria. Thank you, Wasdrox. I read that wrong. Let me turn the light up here. Wasdrox. Thank you, guys. Wasdrox and Victoria. Victoria. I said Victoria. I like Victoria, but Victoria's good too. All right. Wasdrox and Victoria, thank you for your comments. Today we're talking about legalism exposed. This talk, we're going to liberate you from moralism. And what I mean by moralism is not being moral. Okay, moralism is like a religion based on doing the right thing. Big quotes around right thing. Who determines what the right thing is? The parasites that run the masses of humanity. Those are the ones that determine what's right. And in the Bible speaks to those people in Psalms 82 verse 6 and John 10, 34 and 35 by saying you are the gods and you need to treat people better. And so Apex Humans, we're part of that community. It's just that we are on the ground. And so we are deciding humanity's fate just by showing up, breathing, existing as we are. So if you're one of those people, make sure you like, join, and subscribe. I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. The material here is extremely intense and deep, and it's not for the faint at heart. So if this serves you, thank you for the like. You can watch this and move on with your life. Never watch this stuff again. I recommend that if deep, dark, heavy things cause you bowel movements. Okay? So anyway, ever wonder why religion feels like a trap instead of freedom, which is what it's supposed to feel like? You know, I mean, religion is about, you know, following the way and all that, but generally religion is supposed to actually liberate your soul, enlighten your spirit. So drop a, whatever that is, a lightning bolt, if you're done performing for other people's approval and you're ready to reclaim real power. Let's see here. All right. Where are you from? Searching. Sheila Jid, I'm from everywhere and nowhere. Every time somebody asks me where I'm from, I'm going to give you one chance. I'm going to say from everywhere and nowhere. And then if they ask any deeper than that, I'm going to be a little more caustic. And the third time, I'm just going to blast you. Okay? Because everywhere and nowhere. Figure it out. All right. All right. The legalism trap. So what is legalism? First of all, legalism is a dedication to the rules and the law. The rules, there are no laws. Humans can't make laws. But there's dedication to the rules of society, of a group, the ethics, like ethics. Ethics has nothing to do with morality, right? Legalism is adherence to ethics, adherence to rules, adherence to the herd mentality of the group, whether you're Christian, Muslim, politician, Republican, Democrat, liberal, legalist, whatever. You're following the rules of the group without thinking for yourself. That's what legalism ultimately is. Well, the policy, you work in an organization, you work in a job. Well, the policy of the job is that on Thursdays we have to flush the toilet twice because for some reason, who cares, right? So legalism is a belief that you can earn God's approval or earn divine approval through perfect behavior, rituals, and rules, okay? So there are three core signs that you're going to see when you are engaging in legalism or when someone else is engaging in it. Religious performance, that means doing the right things for appearances, not for transformation, not for personal growth, not for spiritual connection to the Most High as a child of the Most High God. The second sign that you'll see is an endless guilt cycle. And this comes from spiritual abuse that is practiced just ad nauseum in churches, in political systems, in scientific communities. It's spiritual abuse. They tell you to outsource your ability to think for yourself, your ability to experience something beyond the reality that we see with our five senses, and they tell you to outsource that to them. Well, that's spiritual guilt. So they use a spiritual abuse. So they use guilt and shame. You're never going to feel good enough no matter how much you obey, no matter how much you try. That's the second sign. Third sign is you're going to have spiritual burnout. Most of you will strive and strive and strive, and the more you strive, the emptier you feel, the sadder you feel, the darker you feel on the inside. So those are three signs of legalism, and they're really three signs of spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse takes place in churches, yes, definitely, 100%, but it also takes place in the scientific community. It takes place in politics. It takes place anywhere where you are encouraged to outsource your intrinsic understanding and experience of life to someone else, okay? And by the way, your intrinsic experience is something you can't see, nobody can see but you. I mean, you can't even see with your eyes, but you can experience things, and it's very hard to communicate those across the barrier of self and to the world outside of you. And so it gets very difficult in that way. So how did Satan take over? Like, why is moralism and legalism satanic? I'm going to talk about it. So there's 5 normal reasons that people struggle with, morality or ethics. Again, ethics is unimportant. Ethics only, everybody wants to make ethics a thing, but nobody reads Greek or Latin. They don't even know what the word ethics means. Ethics refers to ethos, which refers to like the group, ethnic, and there's a Proto-Indo-European linguistic tie between those two sounds. But the idea is the rules of the group. Ethics only refers to the rules of the group. So medical ethics is completely different from theological ethics, which is very different from political ethics, which is very different from legal ethics, like in legislation or even in criminal justice. So they're very different systems, and they can often be very conflicting. I hate criminal justice. I think it's so stupid. Anyway, so there are 5 normal reasons that people struggle with the concept of legalism, morality, that sort of thing. Some people will say, I just need to be more disciplined. Okay, maybe, whatever. If you need to be more disciplined, perhaps the thing that you're trying to do isn't something you want to do. So stop doing it. Go do what you actually want to do and get exceptional at that. All right. The other reason is maybe I'm not praying enough. A lot of you guys think like, oh, I'm praying to God and nothing's happening. Maybe I'm not praying enough. You can pray till your eyes bleed, and you probably need to change your way of praying. Maybe you're praying the way that the church told you to pray, which is useless. It's like masturbating. You're not getting anything out of it. Nothing is coming from it. That kind of prayer, Jesus even said it. It's like what the heathens do. It's vain repetitions. It's just, Father God, Father God, Father God. Waste of words, waste of time, waste of life, waste of air. Okay? The third reason is normal reason that people struggle is they haven't found the right church yet. Well, yeah, you definitely haven't. There aren't any real churches in the world. And then fourthly, some people think that their upbringing was too strict. Yeah, but that's just abuse, so don't worry about that. And then a lot of people feel they don't deserve grace after what they've done. So these are reasons. These are really surface level distractions. Okay. The real problem is a lot deeper, and it's by design. Okay, so legalism has nothing to do with these 5 things, and we're not really going to discuss these things. We're going to go a lot deeper. Okay, so like I've said, I've been here. I've been this guy. I've been a legalist. I was the one that was singing the church hymns and singing them perfectly, because if I got one note off, I thought God was going to judge me. I was going to burn in hell for that. And so I used to be a legalist as a child growing up in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, one of the most legalist Christian churches on planet Earth today. Not a bad church, but definitely legalistic. So I've been there. I was programmed in that ideology. But once you start to see legalism, you start to see its ugly head rearing into your spiritual experience. You'll start to know spiritual slavery disguised as righteousness. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. So breaking free isn't rebellion. It's just waking up. All right. So there's a satanic blueprint behind legalism. So when you go to a church and they say, well, you have to do this and you got to do that, and this is blah, 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 blah. I mean, obviously no churches do that anymore because they realize it was hurting their bottom line. So now churches tell you, God is grace and just show up as you are. Come in a t-shirt and shorts. Come with the whole t-shirt and don't wash your body before you come to church, because we love you and God loves you. And he just says, come as you are. Bullshit. Okay. So, but back in the day, they used to use this one. Okay. They used to use things like some of the things I'm going to talk about here. They used to like beat you over the head with hell and brimstone. That's what they used to do. Nowadays, they don't do that. They beat you over the head with, where are you going to go after you die? We're cool. We're nice. We're hip with the world. We've got tattoos. We smoke weed just like everybody else. We're Christians. Yeah, psychopaths. All right. So the first thing, part of the satanic blueprint and again, let me make this clear. Satan's not bad. Satan's not wrong. Satan's not evil. We don't run away from Satan as Apex Christians. Gummy worms do, because they're scared of the dark and they don't know how to handle the demons that they have within themselves. They haven't exorcised. They haven't worked out their demons. They're trying to exorcise them. They're trying to get them out, trying to get them removed. And that's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's like cutting off your hand because it has an ache or something, or you got a splinter. Or let me just cut the whole hand off because it hurts. That's what removing your demons is like. Don't remove them, work with them. So Satan's not a bad thing, but we're pointing out that it's a lower power. Satan is a lower power. He is the God of this world. He is the ruler of humanity and the ruler of earth. And that's just what it is. He rules the world of sin and suffering and scarcity and lack and struggle and do the right thing and be moral. That's the world that Satan runs. Read the Bible and you'll see that. It's not between the lines. It's obvious and clear. I'm going to give you the Bible verses for that. All right. So the first thing that shows the satanic nature of moralism, and dare I say morality as it's practiced in mainstream religion and politics and everything, is the sense of accusation. That's Satan's favorite tool. He's called the accuser of the brethren in the New Testament. Most people believe that conviction and constant guilt are signs of spiritual maturity. They think that this is a sign of God. Hey, brother, you're sleeping with those whores. You're a bad man. Oh, we're going to convict you. You cheated on your wife. We're going to convict you. You're a harlot from Satan. No, okay, that's guilt. That's accusation. That is satanic by definition. So when you're going around, and look, I do it too. So I'm not going to I call people gummy worms and tell them they're stupid. So I do a lot of satanic things, okay? But I can admit it. I'm not afraid. But I'm just going to point it out, okay? So any type of accusation pointing out the inadequacy or the immorality of another person is a satanic tool, okay? And I'm man enough to say that. I'm God enough to say that, right? The truth is the Bible calls Satan the accuser, all right? Constant condemnation. That's his fingerprint, not God's. Now, I will draw a line between accusation and preference and awareness. And I'm going to get better about being accusative and critical. But just because it doesn't serve me in the biggest way, I often feel very, very frustrated and annoyed when I see things, and I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm living in a state of accusation. So it is what it is. I'm getting better every day. But anyway, the truth is the Bible calls Satan the accuser. Constant condemnation, blaming people, criticizing people is a fingerprint of satanic ways of being. It's not God's. All right. Now, I'm not going to point the finger at other people and say, oh, that's bad for me to do that, and then point the finger at myself. It's the same thing. All right. So there has to be an understanding around that. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God. Where's the kingdom of God? Inside. And the power of his Christ. Interesting, his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. That was the church primarily. That was society primarily. That was politics. That was the moralistic structure that we all grow up in. So that's in Revelation 12:10. It's just talking about the end of that structure and how that's coming to an end. Okay? So the first sign of satanic legalism is accusation. And I can own it if I do it. All right. Moving on. Number 2. The second thing is the law. So the law is something to understand that humans cannot create laws, they can only observe them. It's scientifically fact, it's religiously, spiritually fact, it's just a fact. Humans cannot create laws, they can only observe them. And so if you see something that humans create and they say, we created this policy, we just created this law, it's not a law, it's a rule, you can break it. Excuse me, meaning you have the ability to break it. I'm not encouraging you to break it, but I'm saying you have the ability to break it. The law is a weapon when it is misused, okay? Again, humans don't make laws, they make rules. And so people think that strict rule keeping protects them. So, hey, brother, I show up to church regularly, or let's get rid of that because nobody does that anymore because everybody knows that's bad and wrong. Say, I'm a good man because I'm being abstinent before marriage. That's something that Christians still do, which is kind of stupid, especially guys. Anyway, that's stupid. I'm not accusing them of stupidity. I'm just saying it's stupid. Accusation and observation are two different things. I should probably put that in there. I'll clear that up later. Anyway, so people think that strict rule keeping protects them. The truth is the law's true purpose was to reveal sin, not to make you righteous. The purpose of the law, and it says this in Romans, but I must read Corinthians, the law came to show us like our errors, the lack of harmony that we had in our actions. It's not there to like really save us ultimately. It's like, okay, It's almost like the lines on the street. That's what I guess you could say that. It's Romans says like the law came to demonstrate errors. Like, okay, this is what doesn't work. The Ten Commandments was like, well, this is who God's chosen are, the ones who do these things. So look in the world. Are you see people doing these 10 things? Yeah, okay, well, those are my chosen. The law isn't there. Like, oh, now go do those things in order to be my chosen. No, you don't get. That's not how it works. It's just the other way around, and it's been twisted. So the law has been used as a weapon. The law's true purpose was to reveal sin, but really to let you know what works by showing you what doesn't work. And again, that goes back to the distinction between accusation and observation. Okay? I can observe that the world is full of stupid people that follow gummy worms and parasites. It's an obvious fact if you have eyes to see and ears to hear. But to say that, like, to really go after them, that's where I pull back. And I'm like, okay, okay. Am I really serving myself by just constantly pointing out that the world's full of gummy worms and stupid people? All right. So in 1 Corinthians 15:56, it says, the sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. Sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So sting of death is sin. It also says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It also says the wages of sin is death. So death is not always the immediate death of the body, obviously, because we'd all be dead. Every single one of us would just be poof. The moment you take your first breath, cuss your mom out, you're a baby. You don't have words. You just go, ah! That means fuck you, mom. Dead. Okay, whatever. But the sin, the death that you feel in sin is the lowering of your energetic field. It's like when you feel down or when you feel depressed, you feel angry or frustrated or powerless. That's death. Okay, so death, again, we have to expand our understanding of death as humans. And as we do, we start to realize the Bible is actually accurate. Wages of sin are death. Okay, well, if I err from my purpose in life, I feel depressed. Oh, I'm dead. Depression is death. If I err from my pursuit in life or I don't have a relationship that's fulfilling to me, I keep myself in an abusive relationship, I feel sad, I feel upset, I feel anxious, that's death. Anxiety, depression, frustration, anger, rage, all these things, these are forms of death. Okay? So trying to follow the rules strictly is suffocating in a lot of ways, and it can lead to that terrible feeling that you have inside of fear and anxiety, and that's a form of death. The third thing to consider why Satan is a blueprint, Satan is the basis of legalism, is that legalism is based on the original lie that Satan, the Nakash, it wasn't Satan, it was the Nakash, said to Chava or Eve in the Garden of Eden. Okay? The original lie was that you could control your circumstances, your life, by following the rules. And that you're going to have power by following the rules. Oh, these are the rules of society. What's the rules now? Don't be a toxic male. Okay, I'm going to go get in a relationship with a woman, and I'm going to be that good, soft, nice guy that's going to serve all of her desires and dreams. Good luck, buddy. All right? We assume that knowing good and evil makes us like God. Oh, that's toxic masculinity. Oh, that's a bad thing. Or, I don't know. She's a Western woman that, I don't know. She's a Western woman that doesn't know how to submit to masculinity. Right? That's another stupid idea, right? We assume knowing good and evil makes us like God. It doesn't. God doesn't know good and evil. That's the thing that people don't understand. God doesn't see good and evil. God just sees himself. And he sees himself in the world. And that's what he came to do here. Atum, God, the source being, spat itself into reality within itself, from out of itself, inside of itself. And then it said, okay, where am I? It's a game that God is playing with itself. And so the truth is God does not see. God is, think of Carl Jung's image of the Abraxas. The Abraxas is the top. That's why I use ApexChristianity, the top, right? The apex. And then there's Satan on the left hand. And then there's, we'll say, who's his equivalent? Maybe Jehovah. There's Satan on the left hand and Jehovah on the right, right? There's condemnation, accusation. There's mercy and grace. But above all of it is the Most High, Adonai, Allah, Atum, the Eternal One. And so God doesn't really see all that stuff. Like God doesn't, that's just, if you get caught up in sins, you get distracted and it takes you off of your course. It takes you off of your game. So that's like what this whole thing is about. And so initially in the Garden of Eden, the Nachash, or the serpent, came to Eve, Chava, and he said, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. That's what the Nachash said in Genesis 3:5. Okay? This is, and that's what breeds hypocrisy. All right. And finally, legalism enslaves us. Grace liberates us. Others are stricter. They believe that like being strict and being obedient, that sort of thing, brings freedom. It doesn't, never has, never will, because a lot of the policies, ethics, morals that are made up by the systems that humans groups of people that are trying to control outcomes and circumstances. Nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing, but it may not pertain to your purpose and your path in life. And so if you're going into a system and saying, what should I do to be a good person? You read the rule book, and I need to go do all those things. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to become a physicist. Okay, what are the physics laws, and then what are the, how do I advance and things like that. And you're looking what everybody's doing. Notice how everybody is doing the same thing, and they're all there with you. You got to think a little deeper. You got to realize, oh, everybody else is doing this. Okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? So you got to listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your creative intelligence. You have to listen to your inner driving force in yourself. And you'll get the insights that will put you on top of apex. Again, the whole purpose of this channel is to be raw, be real, be natural, and to break away from the mindless, minion-y, that's not a real word, but mindless minion mindset of the Meyer. Okay? All right? So legalism enslaves people. Many, many times people are just like they're just slaves to the system, slaves to the rules. I got to work the job, got to pay the mortgage, got to be nice to their wife. Time again, that is your highest self, because Satan is a part of your higher self. Definitely way higher than we are here on this physical realm, but it's still in the Most High God. When you develop that and establish that connection to the source being, to your data stream, to the source being from which all of us came, you have the power and the clarity and the wisdom to see through the bullshit and get to where you want to go in life and to fulfill your purpose here. Again, and I say fulfill your purpose, I put a lot of emphasis on that recently, but fulfilling your purpose doesn't look like, what you might think based on the words that I'm using. So you need to connect with the source and know what that means for you. All right? My words are useless if you don't have a connection to the source code. Okay? So in the Bible, in Galatians 3:10 and Galatians 6:7 also talks about this a little bit. For as many are the works of the law, for as many as are the works of the law are under the curse. So as many people are basically tied to following the rules and things like that, they're under the curse. For cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. Okay, that's confusing. I should probably just read it in the Berean Study Bible version. But anyway, legalism is a trap. Following the rules is a trap. And what happens is it's confirmation bias. It's self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, if I don't follow these rules, if I don't do this right, if I don't do that right, then I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be okay. And that is a trap. It's a trap. Okay? So, in conclusion, legalism is not holiness. It is not connection to the Most High. It's a satanic counterfeit. It keeps you guilty, powerless, ashamed, and it is a way of creating a distance between you and the source code, you and the Most High God. Okay, so reject the trap. Step into grace, step into the eternity and the identity of God as your source, the Most High as your source, and live the life that was designed for you. Dr. Merlin Sai, author of Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up. It's a raw and real approach to God in the Bible. It's Bible wisdom you're not supposed to know, that the church cannot teach you, will not teach you, is afraid to teach you, because if they taught you, their bottom line. The churches are dead, and this is not an accusation, it's an observation. If there's a horse lying in the road and his body is bloating, and you can tell the gastric contents as this rotting corpse is sitting in the sun are about to explode, and I say, that dead horse is about to pop. If you guys don't step away, his gut's going to explode, and you're going to be covered with rotting internal organs and things like that. That's not accusation, that's observation. So I have to make that very clear. The church is full of shit, okay? Even if it's nice and even if it wants to tell you about God's grace, they still want to tell you God's got some rules you need to follow. But they don't tell you how to work with those. So that's what this channel is about. That's what the book is about, how to connect with the Most High so that you can actually have a relationship that leads to something that works for you. That's the whole point of this life. Like, does your life work for you? Why would you come here and then live a life that you need to follow all these rules? Okay, what's the first rule? Do this. Okay, I did that. Nothing's working. Okay, do the second one. Oh, I did that. Nothing worked. Right. So, part of my observations, they're not accusations. So, Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up is the book that will help you to awaken your APexHumanity, your geopolitical Christianity, your divine self. My mission is simple. I create the space where the Most High speaks to the chosen. That's all I do. And it's time for you to reclaim your divine activity. If this video was challenging to you in a positive way and it made you think, go get the book, check out all the links in the comments and all that stuff below, whatever. Or you just, like, follow, do all that other shit. All right? But generally, just don't get stuck up in legalism. First thing is, legalism causes you to be an accuser of other people. Observation and things, so be able to tease between those. You may not be a very critical person, and so saying a lot of things that I would say would cause you to be an accuser. But I'm a very critical person, and that's just how I am. It's my design. I like it, and God made me that way, and I love it about myself. So I can say a lot of what people would think are critical things or accusative things, and I'll be fine. However, accusation is a satanic tool, and just be aware of it. Oftentimes accusation can take you off of your path and distract you from where you need to grow. Second thing is that makes a lot of this moralism satanic is that the law is being used as a weapon. It's used to, basically, it's not making you righteous. It's just revealing that you're a sinful person, that you got a lot of problems, and that doesn't help you. So break away from that. Thirdly, the original lie that knowing good and evil will make you like God. It's a subversive lie, because in a way it does. You'll get to know good and evil, but you don't ever transcend it. You just get stuck in that cycle. So get out of that. And the Pharisees are not just church folk. It's not just religious people. It's the scientific community. It's academia. It's politics. It's the legal system. It's anything. It's social media world. That's the Pharisees. It's the group of people that are deciding what it is based on their collective minds, which are worthless, useless. It's like a bunch of ants getting together and deciding they're going to move a building. Just pour gasoline on them. Forget about them. They're irrelevant. They're powerless. So that's everybody. Social media, the world, everybody. They're all powerless. So don't worry about them. That's the fourth satanic aspect of moralism and legalism. Is that obsessive rule following without love leads to hypocrisy, not holiness. Okay. And then finally and fifthly, legalism is enslavement. The grace of God, the grace of your connection to the Most High, actually is what liberates you. All right. So anyway, that's what I'm going to say about that. msai. Create the space where the Most High speaks to His chosen. And I'm going to go and do something different. Stay Apex.